Here's a spin on the average Spec Talk video. We're going to talk about a couple of characters and the books preceding them and speculation related to the upcoming Superman Legacy film. So if you're not already, drop a like, drop a subscription. It helps the algorithm, of course. And we're going to jump into it. Earth 2 graphic novel is a great read. It's something worth picking up. It is also first appearance of Eve Testmaster. I forget how to pronounce her name. It's been a while since I've seen the movies. But funny enough, Miss Testmaster didn't originate in the comics. Actually, she goes back to being on film in Superman's first ever feature flick. And she's like Luthor's right-hand woman. Albeit brief, but Grant Morrison debuts Eve in the DC universe for the first time in this book. And she's later rolled into the main Earth 1 continuity in a Jimmy Olsen story. But this is her first time in comics. And she's been cast in Superman Legacy. Sarah Sempio is playing her. So we know she's going to be part of it. We know Lex Luthor's going to be part of it. And this trade is a great $5 pickup at the moment. It's worth, at the least, reading. It's a great story. It also makes sense this book would become important because Grant Morrison and quietly also created the All-Star Superman run, which we know, alongside other comics, is the big inspiration for this upcoming film. The specific book will come up again in the video, so keep this in mind for a little bit later. Terrifics #1 is the next book I want to talk about. First team appearance of the Terrifics, a 4-man team led by Mr. Terrific, with a different lineup than what we're going to see in Superman Legacy. The new 4-man team will lead Mr. Terrific, but also has Metamorpho, who's confirmed to be in the film with a full casting. He's also in the original comic team, but this is where it starts to differ. In the film, we got Eddie Gattega is going to be playing Mr. Terrific. Isabella Merce is going to be Hawkgirl, who's a new member for the team. Nathan Fillion is Guy Gardner, which is a perfect casting. And Anthony Kerrigan is going to play Metamorpho. This is a book I still consistently pick up for $1. I've picked up a bunch of them recently. And yeah, I've been selling them at pop-up shows for $10 to $20 a piece consistently. So worth keeping an eye out. Keep out for that red title second print. It's a bit harder. And that foil could be big money too. It's a con exclusive. So it's a cool book. I like the Terrifics. I think it's one of the better reads out of that weird DC relaunch that they did at the time. And again, we're going to get a version of the Terrifics, it seems, in Superman Legacy. Moving on to book #3 in ties Superman Legacy and Mr. Terrifics. JSA Secret Files and Origins #1. His first appearance of Kendra Saunders, the second or third, depends on who you ask, Hawkgirl. Although it is unknown which Hawkgirl Isabella Merce is going to portray, heavy rumors point to Saunders. This book's got a little bit of heat as of recently. Right now, they're selling anywhere from $30, roughly. I forgot to look up the GPA analysis on this book, but I'm sure 9/8's over $100 if I'm to guess. So, but it's a book I would keep an eye out for in the dollar bins, maybe $5. I recently picked one up at a flea market. I found a bunch of books at a flea market recently. Moving on to keep with Terrific's theme, the Spectre #54. First, Mr. Terrific #2. The second Mr. Terrific is the one who's known for leading the team. There's a predating Golden Age character, but he's not really in relation to this story. And this book can fly under the radar from time to time. Used to be a dollar bin fine, but in recent years, this book's dried up a bit in those bins, but it doesn't mean that's impossible. It's worth looking for. That's most of that Spectre run is a dollar book, so a lot of times this whole run gets completely overlooked. And maybe you can find it in a set if somebody's got the full run or story arc sets at their shops or pop-ups or whatever it may be. Copies right now sell for over $50 raw, with the CGC 9/8 going for $100,000, $500. So some lucky bastard also just suspiciously bought one for $15 recently off eBay, but I don't know if I even trust that sale data. But, I'll spare you the other two Terrifics members. We'll jump on over to book #5, The Authority #1. Not only his first appearance of a couple of characters, but this is a title, first title for The Authority, who will confirm for the film and their own series spinning out of it. But also, one of Superman Legacy's main villains will be the Engineer, the second Engineer, portrayed by Maria Gabriela de Ferreira, I think is pronounced her name. Here's the sub-villain who works as works under Lex Luthor, and she'll be one of the villains popping up here and there in the story. And Lex Luthor is also going to be in the movie, portrayed by Nicholas Hoult. So this book is crashed back to under $40 raw, and the CGC 9/8 is still over $250. It's one of those books, again, if you find it for a couple of bucks, great, but I wouldn't go scraping on eBay to snag a copy. And moving quick through, number 6, Stormwatch is the series where we get the introduction of most of the Authority, none of which have been publicly cast to date. But we're going to start off with Stormwatch number 37, first appearance of the Authority team, first appearance of Jack Harsmore, Jenny Sparks, and Rose Tattoo. Now, a $25, $40 raw sale average, so we're in that range. A CGC 9.8, 90-day average, just under $200, but the last sale is at just $40. So $40 is just about Grader's cost. That's not a bad pickup. But again, this is a book that's heavily overlooked. A lot of the Stormwatch Image titles, Wildstorm titles, are heavily overlooked. So definitely something to keep an eye on in the dollar bins. And same thing, Stormwatch number 48 is First Changers, adding to the Stormwatch Authority mythos. First engineer, the original engineer, not the one in the movie. The Doctor, Eidolon, and Smoke and Blind. So all characters from the Authority storylines. This is another under the radar dollar bin pickup. And the Stormwatch number 4, we'll write out the Authority spec here. This is a tough one, especially with that black border. I've only ever seen one copy, not Tick to High Hell. This is a tough book. I don't even see it that often, but when I do, it's always beat up. First Apollo and Midnighter, who are probably going to be leads in the show alongside Jenny Sparks. With wonky raw sold data right now, but expensive, $300, $9.8. This is one, again, just worth knowing about. Keep an eye out in those dollar bins because you never know what you can find for $1. You never know. Jimmy Olsen, number 29. Now, I know you're thinking, why a random Jimmy Olsen book? We know Jimmy Olsen's going to be in the movie. You know Lois Lane's going to be in the movie, of course. Right? But during the press tour for Guardians 3, James Gunn had mentioned the possibilities of Crypto being in Superman Legacy. Now, Crypto is a very expensive first appearance in Adventure Comics 210. Very expensive book. I didn't really think it was worth talking about, speculating on that. But in Jimmy Olsen number 29, it is the first time Superman and Crypto ever are together in comics. So this is another under-the-radar book. A lot of the fans are unaware of this. It's a fun package to hunt for in those bins. Many non-New Gods and non-early Jimmy Olsen books just get straight up ignored. And this one might be worth remembering. Just something fun to keep an eye out for your LCS or local comic shows. This is a book you probably can afford waiting on. So fight the FOMO. Don't look online. Don't spend $40 for a low-grade copy because you could probably go to a show and find a guy who has a bin of Jimmy Olsen's for $5 or $10, and it might be in there. You never know. And to wrap up, we segue back to the first book. The 10th book on our list is in connection to Earth 2. Because the rumor is currently the main villain of the film is actually Ultraman. Not the kaiju fighting Japanese superhero, but instead the evil Superman of Earth 3 and the leader of the crime syndicate. First appearing in Justice League of America number 29. Crisis on Earth 3 is the iconic story. And, I also just talked about this one recently in my History of Hawkman video. Check that out if you haven't already. There's a lot of Hawkman knowledge in that video. But this is the first Ultraman, first Power Ring, Owlman, Johnny Quick II, and Superwoman, the evil JLA of Earth 3. And it's also the first time they ever mentioned the name of the first Lantern, Volthoom. So, big key. This is a book that's been on the radar. It's always kind of been an expensive book, at least for a lot of time now. But it's got a lot of eyes on it. And you never know what we could find. This is another one I picked up super cheap at a flea market. I paid $20 for a stack of 5 or 8 or so books, and that was one of them. It's actually on my wall over there. So, it's a book worth knowing about, and it's worth knowing that it sounds as if the crime syndicate, or at the least Ultraman, are going to be a big part of Superman Legacy, which is exciting to me because we've never seen the crime syndicate get a big spotlight. We've never seen them in live action to date. But I hope you enjoyed. Drop a subscription, drop a little like. Let me know down below. Do you have any of these books? What other books are you speculating on? Other characters do you think are going to show up in Superman Legacy? It's a stacked cast. There's a lot of people going on. You got the Authority, you got the Terrifics, you got the Engineer, you got Lex Luthor, you got Eve Tetchmaster, you got Earth 2, Ultraman, you got the Crime Syndicate, and then on top of these stuff, Superman, Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, the whole crew. So I do appreciate the fact that James Gunn's not doing an origin movie. You don't need to see another origin of Superman. We know where it comes from. This is existing in universe. That's why there's so many characters that are just going to show up here. But I hope they do it well. I hope Gunn and Safran got a pretty good idea for this new, Gods and Monsters. That's what they're calling the first phase. That's actually getting kicked off this up in 2024. with Creature Commandos animated movie, and in 2025, Superman Legacy will be the first live-action film for the new DC universe. So I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, drop a comment, drop a like, drop a subscription. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram if you haven't already. It's the link down in the description. On Facebook and Instagram, I do a series called Tales from the Hunt, where I talk about going out and looking for books and people I ran into, stuff I didn't buy, cool stuff I found, stories I have, and in relation to the haul videos that go up on the channel and other videos like this and fun stuff like that. So, of course, here are my shorts, YouTube shorts, where I talk about all kinds of new news and announcements and stuff like that. And also on there, I've talked about Superman Legacy several times. So if you want other news and announcements and castings, go check that out. And everything else linked down in the description. Until next time, peace.